you. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming on stage Jan Somers, the CEO GS1 Belgilux, together with Wouter Schaekers, chairman from the board of directors GS1. Here they are.
Good morning, everyone.
Goedemorgen.
Good morning, everyone. Look at it, the barcode as it was in 74 on a chewing gum, first scanned in a supermarket. Today, the barcode has become unmissable. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in the retail. It's in the Hawaiian garden pet. It's in healthcare. It's in your collars and it's on your pallets. And if you look to the figures we have on the barcodes scanned every day, 6 billion, 2 million companies use yearly and daily the GS1 system, and we have more than 4 trillion products every year that are identified with a barcode.
4 trillion products, it's hard to imagine, right, if you start to count the number of zeros. Now, actually, the number of zeros will become even much bigger if you think about all the materials, all the components, all the ingredients that are inside these products. I'm not even going to count, but you know it's amazingly how many we're talking about. And especially, as you all know, a product does not move as a consumer product through the supply chain. There is a lot of packaging happening, you know, packaging on transport, a different box. So this is really an amazing amount of packaging that goes through the life cycle of a product. And unfortunately, right, in the end today, the reality is that very often this packaging, after it's used, it's being trashed. That's a reality check, right? That's insane, not a bad thing if you would kind of be able to use it and keep the value. Now, too often we all know, right, that the value is not kept. Or at least we don't know, and that's really the big challenge that we face today. Maybe it's resold, maybe it's repaired, maybe it's recycled, maybe it's burned. We are pretty lucky in Belgium, actually. We have good partners like Vos Plus Recupel that manage a lot, and I would say we are in the lead versus other companies. But at least as a consumer, honestly, you don't know, right? You don't have visibility on that one. And being in the cloud is good if you want to do innovation, but if you think about data, it would be much better to have the data at hand, because if you have it at hand as a consumer, you can act upon it, right? And that's really the big challenge we have. So I think if you are all in this room, if you're all in alignment that say, look, we have a mission and we have, let's say, a duty to act. We cannot continue like this, right? We cannot be blind and we have to do something. So Jan, tell us, how can we help on that?
Well, we as GS1, we do not have the ambition to say that we will realize the circular economy. On the contrary, it's our ambition to support, let's say, all our stakeholders in making the circular economy happen. Support, stimulate, enable them just to make that they have all the technologies, all the standards needed to create a circular economy. We've seen that in Wouter's part that there are many issues we can solve. And that's why we say we have a very simple statement. The only way to realize the circular economy is much more transparency on the way we source, the way we manufacture, and the way we use or reuse or recycle the product afterwards. And we need for this real-time insights, and we need much more data to close, let's say, the circular loop.
Yeah, so imagine we have all this insights, we have all this data. As we said, it's time to act, it's not time to think anymore. Now we need to act circularity, but why is that? Let's double click a bit into that one, because we talk a lot about it, but what is now really the problem we're trying to solve? There is different problems, right? It's not one thing. So if you look at it from a resources point of view, I think it's not a secret that the resources are scarce. I mean, in the past 50 years, maybe people thought there is an abundance, but the reality is resources are scarce. We need to use them more than once, and if not, it's going to impact our planet, but it's also going to impact your wallet because things are going to get too expensive. I think we all feel that today. Next to, let's say, resource scarcity, there is also the waste impact, right? So if we're not able to reuse it, to recycle it, at one moment in time, in the best case, you're burning it for energy recovery, maybe you're landfilling it, And even worse, it can leak into the ocean, which has a dramatic impact on our planet, as you all know. And next to that one, I think it's also not a secret anymore that if you think about our carbon footprint, also that is not kind of an issue for the next generations only, it's an issue now already. I mean, climate change is happening today or even yesterday. So that's something we need to take into account, right? So it's a complex problem, it's about resources, it's about waste, and it's about carbon. Not always an easy kind of compatible solution, but if we're conscious about it, that's really the starting point. And again, now is the time to act. Because if you look at, what do our customers want, our consumers, what does the government want, I think we're now all clear on what we need to do. We have a challenge in front of us. We need to act. And as GS1, as Jan says in the beginning, right, we are GS1, the company, the staff. We are all together in the community, everybody in this room. So we hope that today you can get a bit of insight what that practically means that we're going to do together.
This means we need to track and trace the product journey from its sourcing to the manufacturing and to the disposal and back. There is no other way. We have seen in the recent months some problems with some recalls on food. And of course, tracking the products in the value chain will solve and get better results also for the recalls that we have with the products. We have a huge challenge ahead of us because think about it, tracking and tracing is not something that we have done already in the past. Sometimes it happens, but not for all products, and it have a huge impact on all the value chains. And that's not all. We also need to be able to follow the product after its usage to make sure that we are fully compliant with the demands from the legislation. And just to give you a very small introduction on the digital product passport, because later on we have a detailed session on this. But together with GS1 Global Office, we have been trying to influence the European Union to have the GITIN, which we are celebrating today, the GITIN, the EIN code, as the unique identifier for the digital product passport. And we simply said towards the European Union, you have an identifier on the product, why should you put another? And so you see, you can make the comparison, a digital product passport for the product, and you have a product, you have a passport for human beings. And what, in fact, it's a bit the same. For human beings, you try to say male, female, your address, where you are born. For a product, we will have to combine a unique identifier with master data and with event data. And that's going to be one of the biggest changes we are seeing in the GS1 system, to combine everything together in one output, the digital product passport. And the digital product passport will be placed and will be required for every product that will be sold in the European Union. So can you imagine the impact? I have, I think, 116 colleagues worldwide, and they all will have to explain to their members, listen, you are going to export to the European Union, you need a digital product passport. 50 trillion, or how many?
40 trillion.
40 trillion products every year on the European Union. This is huge. And so we as GS1, we have a very simple ambition. We want to help our members, Wouter, in creating the digital product passport, storing it in a system, and sharing it with consumers, governments, and the business.
All right, so if I get it right, Jan, the digital product passport is really there to help the stakeholders to get visibility and to make that information accessible to the consumers, right? That's quite a big challenge, right? I mean, if you look about it, I think all of you are partnering up with other companies. This must be one of the more ambitious and innovative projects, at least in GS1 all time, so pretty exciting. Or you could say, maybe it actually makes me nervous, so can we really do it? Well, I'm quite happy to say yes, we can, because we have done it in the past. Think about FIC, think about other regulations. Let's have a little look at the video to see how we have done it in the past.
Trustbox permet non seulement de garantir l'exactitude de vos données, il peut également aider le consommateur à la recherche d'informations plus précises ou plus complètes. Prenons l'exemple de Carole. Carole est une maman responsable et comme toutes les mamans, elle essaie d'offrir ce qu'il y a de mieux à ses enfants. Sa fille souffre d'une intolérance au gluten. Il est donc important pour elle de savoir ce que les produits qu'elle achète contiennent. C'est pourquoi, avant de faire ses achats en magasin ou sur Internet, elle peut vérifier la composition des produits qu'elle comptait acheter. Grâce à Trustbox, elle y trouve des informations fiables car ce sont les propriétaires des marques qui fournissent et qui contrôlent les données, ces mêmes données que les distributeurs publient en ligne à l'intention du consommateur. Parce que le consommateur a le droit de savoir ce qu'il achète. Plus encore, il est dans son intérêt de connaître la composition et la provenance de ce qu'il utilise dans la vie de tous les jours. Pour que tous puissent apprécier ce qu'ils consomment en toute sérénité.
Sinds 13 december 2014 zijn we wettelijk verplicht om onze patiënten, medewerkers en ook alle cafetariabezoekers te informeren over de wettelijk verplichte allergenen in de aangeboden maaltijden. Nu, elke wijziging in samenstelling van een product, maar ook elk artikel dat vervangen wordt, is voor ons dus ook zeer belangrijk dat we dat zo vlug mogelijk gecommuniceerd krijgen.
Java importeert de productgegevens vanuit Trustbox. We nemen ook dagelijks de wijzigingen binnen, zodat de gegevens up-to-date blijven. Het is natuurlijk heel belangrijk dat die gegevens correct en volledig zijn.
The Falsified Medicine Directive required a better traceability of the medicines through the whole supply chain to combat counterfeit medicines. GS1 Data Matrix has been chosen as data carrier and implemented successfully through the whole healthcare supply chain, providing not only patient safety, but also increasing the efficiency of the value chain.
De nieuwe wetgeving inzake traceerbaarheid en de strijd tegen vervalste producten verplichten tot strengere identificatieprocessen en controles om de logistieke keten betrouwbaar te maken en de 5 rechten van de patiënt zo goed mogelijk te garanderen. De juiste dosis van het juiste geneesmiddel aan de juiste persoon op het juiste moment en op de juiste manier.
So far, so good. After this first flashback, we will have flashbacks and we have flash forwards, just to have you a very attractive forum. So, in any case, what we know is that for the Green Deal of the European Union, the whole value chain needs to become circular and needs to be digitalized. Otherwise, we will not make it happen. And for this, we have to, of course, to solve many issues on our way. But I would say this is the time to act, not only for GS1, and you will see later on our new strategy focused on enabling the circular economy. But there is no time to waste to prepare the future, and no time to waste. Look at it, how important it is. And I would suggest you take a look to a very small video we have made just to explain the role that GS1 can play in the circular economy. Just go for the video.
Waste is generated during production, in stores, and during consumption. Whether a product has a short or long service life, it has to be disposed of at the end of its life cycle. Less than 10% of the materials used around the world are currently fed back into the material cycle. Valuable raw materials are lost as a result. The aim of the circular economy is to produce products in such a way that it minimizes the consumption of raw materials and makes it possible to repair, reuse, and recycle them. Furthermore, processes should be designed to use resources efficiently. In order to achieve this goal, transparent and standardized communication between all participants is required, using uniform data, that is, a common language. The GS1 standards make this possible. Barcodes and other identifiers enable companies to uniquely identify and trace physical objects and link relevant information to them. This electronic data can also be used in communication with consumers. Let's illustrate how GS1 standards can be used to support the circular economy using the example of a mobile phone. They can serve as basis for a digital product passport and allow various information about a product to be saved and used throughout its life cycle. In a passport, information on mobile phone repairs could be logged, Information to assess the condition of a product when reselling it be accessed, and information on dismantling instructions for recycling purposes be communicated. This is an important step on the path to a circular economy. GS1 supports this journey. We bring together companies from various sectors on our independent platform and strengthen intercompany cooperation. Work with us to jointly develop the solutions for a resource-efficient, more sustainable future.
So thank you very much, dear Jan and Wouter, for this introduction, but especially I think for sharing some key facts and eye-openers with us we can keep in mind during the rest of the presentations. Well, 45 years of a long journey with growth, but also 45 years already planting the seeds for the circular economy.